All right. One thing that I did want to go over with you guys, I'm going to try to screen share it and paste it somewhere so you can see it. But when you share your screen, there are two things you got to click at the bottom: share computer sound and optimize screen sharing for video. Like I said, I'm gonna try to copy and paste this so I can show you what I mean. Or else when you show the videos, they won't be able to hear the sound. So I tried to do this with one of my clients and it wasn't working, so I had to scrap it because I hadn't figured that out. So.
And that's at the bottom of the screen?
Let me try to show you, let me just make an extra slide on this and I'll just show it to you. Okay, so when you go to share your screen, that's what you get right there. And then there's these two things at the bottom. You got to click that if you want to show videos. So don't forget, if you are going to use this or show any videos, you got to select that and then.
So you just check those boxes?
Just check those boxes and then hit share.
All right. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hit share. Okay.
Yeah, and then hit share. And then I'll go ahead and get started on the presentation then. So I don't know if you guys, I think it's fine just to leave it like this. I guess it looks cleaner if you hit present. It fills up the whole screen, but the problem is when we go to videos, it kind of goes out of that. So I don't know if you want to go into present mode or not. So, this is just kind of how it starts. So I don't know if you really even want to say anything on that, but the first thing is, the company we represent does the most 403B business in the entire country. But, in recent years, they've come up with this product, which is an upgrade to the 403B. So for more on that, we're just going to watch a quick intro video about what all this product, which is known as an IUL, has to offer. And then this right here, any of these guys are going to be links. Anytime you see a picture, that's a link. So if you're not sure if it's a link or not, you can just put your cursor over it and you see how it changes there. So that's a link. And then the video will not start up automatically. So you have to hit play. And then I like to make it full screen, and then I'm just going to let it play through.
When it comes to retirement planning, there are three kinds of people. The guy who doesn't think about or plan for retirement, you don't want to be that guy. The gambler type who feels the only way to grow her money is to risk losing it all in the stock market, and the play it safe type who shudders at the thought of losing a single penny of his savings, even if it means sacrificing any opportunity for that money to grow. For years, retirement planning has been vastly limited to choices that fall on one side of the scale or the other. And so, money-savvy people tend to invest in 2, 3, 14, 50 different products in an attempt to balance the scale. But what if there was a way to capture the upside potential of a risky product and the downside protection of a secure product all in one solution? Well, hold on to your potatoes. Let's talk about IUL. Index Universal Life can harness the best parts of both sides of the financial seesaw. IUL is a form of permanent life insurance that, whoa, hang on. Life insurance has changed in the last 20 years. You know it as something that just pays out when you die. But these days, life insurance can actually be one of the most powerful wealth accumulating vehicles on the market. One huge benefit of IUL is the ability to harness the power of compound interest to potentially generate large amounts of non-taxable cash value within the policy. This cash value can be accessed later in life to fund a happy, healthy, non-taxable retirement. Your IUL's performance directly reflects the performance of the stock market index while implementing a 0% floor and a market cap, usually around 10%. So your cash value participates in the growth of the market up to the cap and sits safely on the sidelines when the market goes down. You forego some of the upside to alleviate all of the downside. So, zero is your hero. With IUL, you won't spend a single day of your accrual making up for losses. Pretty cool, right? Well, it gets better. When designed properly, IUL can serve as a retirement vehicle based on a financial chassis of life insurance protection. And because of IRS tax code exemptions for life insurance, your cash value can create a tax-advantaged way to generate more income in retirement. That's something your 401k or IRA simply can't offer. So what might an IUL look like for you? Let's talk specifics. Larry here is in decent health, a non-smoker, and contributes $500 a month to his IUL starting at age 35. This contribution is conservatively projected to generate $500,000 of cash value by the time Larry retires at age 65. If he chooses to, Larry can turn on a non-taxable income stream from his IUL, giving him $60,000 of income per year to supplement his retirement. And the longer he waits to access this money, the larger it can grow. That death benefit is even accessible when Larry's still living if he suffers a critical, chronic, or terminal illness. So if Larry gets sick, he's covered. If he dies unexpectedly, his family is covered. And if neither of those things happen, the money Larry's paid into his IUL over the years can fund a happy, healthy, tax-advantaged retirement. Assuming Larry lives to age 90, he will have contributed a total of $186,000 into his IUL, drawn out $1.5 million in non-taxable retirement income, and still leave behind a very sizable tax-free death benefit for his heirs. The person who shared this video with you can show you what an IUL might look like for you, given your specific.
So one big thing to remember, just as a housekeeping note here, is that those videos, since they're not YouTube videos, they're not embedded in the presentation. So you actually jump out of the presentation when you click them. So just be aware of that. I like to just exit out when I'm done. You can keep it up, it doesn't matter. But then the presentation's just back over here.
Oh, you went to a top tab? Yeah.
Yeah, just on one of your top tabs.
Yeah.
So just to talk more specifically about some of the some of the attributes of an IUL, they basically provide you with 3 pillars of protection, which really starts to set this product apart from any traditional retirement vehicles. One thing that you're not going to get in any other retirement vehicle, 401k, 403b, etc., is that you're protected if you die too soon. In fact, you're protected from the day you make your first premium payment with a death benefit, which we'll talk more about specifics on as we get going. But from day one, you are protected. Your family's protected for the loss of the income that they would forego if you were to die too soon. Also, you are protected if you were to become disabled and have to miss work. So by disabled, I mean if you were to get sick or hurt to the point where you had to miss work, this would act as your long and short-term disability. A lot of companies like to sell cancer insurance. This kind of acts as all that. And for more on that, and again, you see how this is different. So this is a link. We're going to watch this video about the living benefits that are tied to this life insurance. I missed it.
When Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone in 1876, he designed it to do one thing: make phone calls.
Hello?
These days, it seems we use our phones for everything but phone calls. Today's phones are our text messengers, calculators, books, planners, navigators, our cameras, music players, internet browsers, stock traders, even our flashlights. Phones evolved to include so many other useful features because we needed them to. yet we still just call them phones. This same evolution by necessity has happened with other products over the years, and life insurance is no exception. When life insurance was invented way back in the 1600s, it was also designed to do one thing: to financially protect your loved ones when your life is over. And like phones, life insurance evolved because we needed it to. With modern advancements in medicine, suffering a critical illness like a heart attack, stroke, or cancer diagnosis no longer necessarily means death. In fact, 90% of people who suffer a heart attack these days survive that event. That's where the new, evolved kind of life insurance policy comes in, one that adds living benefits. Living benefits policies are essentially the smartphones of life insurance. They allow your life insurance policy to not just be a parting gift, but also provide the ability to accelerate the death benefit if you suffer a critical, chronic, or terminal illness. This ability can help save your financial life by unlocking a whole new list of ways to use your policy while you're still living.
Hello.
And oftentimes, it does all of this at the same price as the old kind of life insurance. Living benefits protect you, your loved ones, and your wallet, not only in case you die, but also in case you don't. Two things always happen when you suffer a critical or chronic illness. Your expenses go up, and your income goes down. When your expenses get higher than your income, that's when debt begins to pile up. This is the exact trap that so many Americans are falling into every single day. In fact, 60% of all bankruptcies that occur in the U.S. are the direct result of a critical illness and the medical expenses that follow. With living benefits, the policyholder has the option to accelerate a portion of their death benefit to replace their income and help with those added expenses. These benefits are the difference between just surviving the illness and having a life afterwards. And the best part is, they come at no extra cost to the consumer. So what kind of life insurance is protecting your family? Your granddad's traditional death benefit only coverage?
I don't know if I'm hearing anything.
Or the new evolved life insurance with built-in living benefits? If you're still using the rotary phone of life insurance, maybe it's time for an upgrade. Contact the person that shared this video.
Like I was telling Dad too when I was showing this the other day to him, I just like about these videos how it kind of draws those analogies that you can kind of refer back to later in the presentation. Like, you know, I feel like that smartphone thing is a good analogy where you can compare, you know, death benefit only insurance to, you know, like the rotary phone, but insurance that has living benefits is more like the smartphone. So I like that about the videos.
Yeah, do you have the old kind of insurance or the new kind of insurance?
Right.
Yeah, and this is really evidence, you know, telling them what you just told them too. So these videos are like additional evidence.
And he's gotten a sale off. He's got a $2,400 AP sale on it.
Yeah.
These videos, okay.
And then thirdly, you know, if you you know, we all want to live a long, healthy life, and then retire, and then get to enjoy our retirement. So that's the third pillar of protection, is that this can be used in a very effective way to supplement your pension income. So now we're going to talk about a few of the ways that that can happen. So, you know, one of the things that hit on in the first video was, you know, it talked about being a kind of a balanced approach to you know, letting your wealth grow, as far as you're protected from market loss, but you also get to participate in a lot of the upside. So you don't have to really pick between one or the other. This is kind of the best of both worlds. And now just to kind of show you how they make that happen, this just talks about how your cash value can grow within your IUL policy. Maybe.
That was a good video. No, I mean, it was the one I saw.
Oh, there we go.
The death benefit of an Index Universal Life Insurance Policy, or IUL, can provide a key resource for your loved ones if you die prematurely. It also builds cash value over time that you can access in situations where you need money. For example, to help pay for a loved one's education, to help provide extra retirement funds, or to help cover the unexpected costs of an emergency. The cash value of your IUL policy earns interest that is based in part on the performance of one or more market indices, like the S&P 500. Most IUL policies provide a floor that protects you from loss when the market declines. It's important to know that with an IUL policy, you are not investing in the index itself. How could you earn interest based on something you're not actually invested in? How can you not lose money? It all works because of a process called hedging. Let's take a closer look at how this works. An insurance company invests in bonds that earn about 4 to 8% each year. This is called their asset portfolio. The insurance company then takes a small amount of money from its asset portfolio, about 3 to 5%, and purchases an option to buy or sell shares of a market index. The insurance company does not actually buy shares of a market index. They simply purchase a contract that gives them the option to buy shares of an index at a specific price on or before a certain date. If the price of the index goes up during that time, the insurance company can sell the option for a profit. It's this profit that enables the company to credit interest to their policy. If the index price goes down, the company simply lets the option expire. The insurance company only loses the money they used to pay for the option. Your IUL policy, however, does not lose any money. That's because during this time, the company's asset portfolio has grown enough to replace the money that it used to buy the option. The company's asset portfolio hasn't lost any money, so your policy won't lose value either. This hedging strategy is how IUL policies can grow when the index goes up, but not decrease when the value of the index goes down. Think an Index Universal Life policy might be right for you? Talk to your financial
So in addition to, that process known as hedging, that kind of lets you get the best of both worlds. You're never going to lose anything on your principal. It also has tax advantages that you can literally get with no other product on the market because it is tied to a life insurance policy. It's got tax advantages that take advantage of some loopholes in the tax code. So for just more on exactly how that works, we got another video here.
The Wall Street Journal called best-selling author Ed Slott the best source of IRA advice, and USA Today said it would be tough to find anyone who knows more about IRAs than CPA Slott.
Let's switch gears to another way to eliminate huge taxes: life insurance. Just so you know, I say it on every program, I do not sell life insurance. I don't sell stocks, bonds, funds, annuities. I'm a tax advisor and an educator. And as a tax advisor, I'm advising you to take advantage of the single biggest benefit in the tax code, and that is the tax exemption for life insurance. You've heard me talk about the incredible leverage and tax-free benefits of life insurance, mainly for your heirs. And that payoff is big. You turn relatively small amounts of taxable money into a tax-free windfall for your family. They'll end up with millions more than you ever had, all tax-free. It's truly the best tax leverage available under the tax code, but it's actually better than you think, especially if you're thinking, what's in it for me? Anyone thinking that? In these volatile and uncertain times, you need to focus on investments that give you control, options, flexibility, and certainty. And you want to remove both stock market risk and tax risk. And you want a guarantee. And you want it all tax-free. That's a tall order. But you can get all of that with certain kinds of permanent life insurance. Most people think of life insurance as something that pays off after you're dead. That's true. But what if I told you that you could have tax-free access to your life insurance during your lifetime, so you could use it for yourself? You could begin moving large amounts of money from taxable accounts into a tax-free permanent life insurance policy. The money grows tax-free inside the policy. It's harder than ever today to make money on your investments. So the last thing you want to do is share any of your hard-earned gains with the government. You don't have to if those gains are earned within a life insurance policy. If your money's going to grow, it may as well grow tax-free, right? You need to realize that life insurance is an investment, but it's better than your typical investment accounts because it's tax-free. Oh, and one more thing. Life insurance comes with something else that you can never get from the stock market, a guarantee. But how much can you invest? Well, that's up to you and the tax rules. Believe it or not, this is an area where you might want to invest the maximum you can into the policy. If you're approaching retirement or already retired and looking to shelter more of your taxable money into a tax-free vehicle, this might be the place for you. But the mistake most people make at this stage of life is trying to pay the least for the policy. So you might be thinking, how can paying less be a mistake? Everybody wants a good deal because this is an investment, not an expense. If you were saving money in a bank account, would you want to put in the most or the least? Of course you want to put in the most because this is your savings. You should look at permanent life insurance the same way, except that the investment is tax-free. So why would you keep money growing in a taxable account when it can be transferred to a tax-free investment? If you have taxable IRA funds, you can, in effect, convert your IRA to life insurance, paying tax now at low rates on distributions from your IRA, and then using that money to fund your life insurance investment. That accomplishes two things. You reduce your future tax exposure in your IRA by taking distributions now. And
just a side note, I don't know like about that part of the video or anything. Have you guys ever done any like rollover stuff into an IUL, or does anybody know anything about that? Or
Yeah, so it's when you're doing, you can do, I think it's done, like if you got, say somebody's got a 403B, you do an IUL for $500 or $600 a month, and they want to roll that $40,000 in their 403B into this. To my understanding, I've talked to Gabe quite a bit about it, and I think to 2.0 or Pete Lee, but I think it maybe is Pete Lee, but you roll it in $10,000 increments, $10,000 a year for 4 years. Because when you roll it, it becomes a taxable event.
okay.
And you don't want to pay taxes on the whole 40 at once, but you do them a service because, like Ed Slott was saying, you're paying taxes when rates are lower.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah.
Does it go into like a SPIA at that point? Is that what they're talking about?
Well,
The
it's not. I
SPIA
mean, it's no, because it's transferring $10,000 a year for 4 years.
Can you
So
roll the
what's
whole
the
thing at
count?
one time or just
And it's
10,000?
still a contributory IR. It's still a contributory IUL. You can like do $1,000 a month IUL and keep contributing for the rest of your life if you want to, and you can roll your 403B into it $10,000 at a time.
Do you know what that retainer, like that container is called, what they call that?
What they call what?
Like where they hold the money and then feed it through, you know what I mean, at 4 years at a time. Do you know what that's called?
I don't know if there is a name for it.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to keep this going just because we're going to probably come up against our little 40-minute time.
Okay.
limit.
Okay.
Sorry.
And you build up a tax-free source of retirement funds should you need them. If it turns out that you don't need to tap into your life insurance for retirement income, then the life insurance benefit builds for your family. Also income tax-free, and for most people, it'll be estate tax-free too, depending on the estate tax exemption level. This is truly the best leverage available, and it's all under your control. Once again, I do not sell life insurance, but as a tax advisor, I gotta tell you that the tax exemption for life insurance is the single biggest benefit in the tax code. Make it a part of your retirement savings plan and your estate plan. But remember, This area of your life is a little tricky. You must do it the right way to receive all the benefits I'm telling you about. Now is the time to create a plan to rescue your retirement and move your money from accounts that are forever taxed to accounts that are never taxed. It's the taxes. You know, these two moves alone, Roth IRAs and life insurance, can single-handedly remove most of the taxes you or your beneficiaries will ever have.
In addition to those two aspects that we talked about, you know, the way that it can take advantage of compound interest without, you know, the worry of having to, you know, without the worry of market loss, and also the tax advantages on the back end. You also have 100% liquidity in regards to your cash value from day one. Another thing that your traditional tax vehicle is not going to offer. A good rule of thumb for most traditional retirement accounts is that you can't touch it without penalties, and you will be taxed to some degree, even when you're out of penalty. But you can't touch it without penalty until you are 59 and a half. Whereas here, that money is liquid. So another big advantage there. And then you have options at retirement, which I will touch on that more when we get to an actual illustration. But, you know, basically what that means is you will have accrued X amount of dollars, you know, during your working years, and then you get to retirement. And at that point, you know, you have options. You can tell them to send you a yearly income that will, you know, like we said earlier, be used to supplement your pension. If you feel like you don't need it at that point, you can continue to let it grow, and it will continue to grow at a high rate, even though you're not funding it at that point. But you have many options at the end. Now, just wanted to hit on this just a little bit, but we're going to look at how your state pension is funded. And this is a map that the Federal Reserve puts on their website, and it just shows the percentage that every state pension is funded. So what that means is that they just compare their assets to their liabilities, excuse me. And so, you know, if you're looking at the colors, basically the red is anything less than 40%, and then it goes up to the mustard yellow, which would be greater than 80%. So we start in 2002, and this only goes up to 2017, but this will give you a good illustration of how variable it really is, how inconsistent it might be. And since you're an Indiana employee, I'm going to focus on Indiana as it goes. So I'm going to hit play, and it's going to take us from 2002 to 2017. And I just want you to watch how it changes over the years. So beginning in 2002, it looks pretty good. Well, 61%. I guess you could say that that's not very good too. So anyways, let's see how it changes over the years. So looking good up to 2005, 2006, headed in the right direction. And then 2008 happens and everybody went into the red. And then it'll just start over. So, you know, what that, you know, with me being a public employee myself and being a member of the state pension system, this illustration kind of gives me an uneasy feeling, you know, as to, you know, just how reliable it is. And it just shows you how all over the place that pension funding really is.
Like 61% funded.
Oh,
Mhm.
go into it a little bit like you were doing with where you show it going down to like 38%.
Well, that was in Kentucky.
38%.
That was Kentucky.
What's it now, about 60?
I don't know. You can just click on that link in the presentation, and then you can see it. Sorry, I'm just kind of rushing because we're
Sure.
gonna
Yeah, go ahead.
run up to the end. So now we're gonna contrast that with the company that we represent, National Life Group, which really we feel like offers a history that you can trust.
And you're right at 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes.
So one thing that I want to highlight, right, just on that contrast, like I said right at the beginning, notice they have 34 billion in assets versus 32 billion in liabilities. So if that were on that Fed map that we just looked at, that would be over 100% funded. So just to show you how different it is, when you're dealing with a private company like this, because they're held to much more stringent standards than a public fund like a state pension. So this just shows some of their business highlights through the years. So as you can see, A ratings from all of the biggest financial rating system, AM Best, they have an A excellent rating. S&P, they have an A plus strong rating, and from Moody's, they have an A2 rating, which is good. They're the #1 fixed index annuity, employee sponsored plan seller in the country. So what that means is they sell the most 403Bs in the entire country. And actually the product that we're looking at is the IUL, and they're #2 in national sales on that. Like we said, it's nice to know that this company does so much 403B business, but this is the IUL business is really growing because, like we said, it's an upgrade to the 403B. And then, guys, there's more on there too. The backside just kind of shows you, if you want to get into any of this, some of the good stuff they do inside the community. For teachers, this one down here might be good to hit on. They have this program called Life Changer of the Year. Where they actually pay teachers a $10,000 payout if they win Life Changer of the Year. So they do work a lot with educators, and they do a lot to help that community, as well as other things in the community as well. So a lot of people like to hear that. So how can this look for you? And this is kind of where I would just kind of start getting into an individual illustration. So, in my folder here, if I could get it, this thing's always kind of in the way. In my folder here, I would just say, okay, talking to a 35-year-old female. So I'm going to go find my 35-year-old female. And then if you want, you could just kind of go into it, but this could remind you of the things to hit on. These are the things we talked about. So die too soon, what exactly does that mean? So on the illustration, you could show them, right? So this 35-year-old contributes $200 on their first contribution. They're protected at over $384,000. So then you would just go into the illustration, and we're going to run out of time, so I'm going to stop it there. So if we want, I don't know, we could just, what do you guys want to do? Everybody feel okay about just stopping it there?
Yeah, very nice. Nice job.